Good evening, YouTuber subscribers and friends and alike. It's Grant coming at you from Red Roof Inn in Grand Junction, Colorado. It's a home yard that I'm here a lot for the company that I'm working for now. It is, I believe, October. I forgot to look before I started the video, but I think October 14th, somewhere in there. 2023. And I was looking through subscriber comments lately, and then it dawned on me that I haven't done a here and now type of thing, comparison between the RV companies that I was doing and the one that I'm doing now. So writing it down, on average for synergy or quality, or some of those other ones that I took, Pinnacle, a bunch of other stuff, I could do 2,000 miles in an RV, and then that 2,000 miles would cost you about 500 fuel and food between the two to get you 4 days down the road. And then once you deliver it, and you wait the 4 hours at the delivery thing, and you go, you get in the lift, and you go to the nearest airport, and you fly back, and then you get in the lift and go back out to the RV yard and get another one. It costs you another $500 worth of the flight and the lifts to go out there, but you profit about $1,000 for the week, and it takes you about a week to complete, because it's about 4 days and then a day or two to get back, depending on your public transportation that you take and whatnot. But you can average about 1,000 a week, or I used to. Now that I'm working for Worldwide, my situation has changed. Sometimes they're busy, sometimes they're not. But on average, the trucks are between 500 and 600 miles at a shot, because I'm usually only taking it from a service yard, a local service yard that where they put the, I think it's like the labels. They put, what's the word for it? They put the PTR mud flaps in the PTR unit numbers and labels on there, and sometimes they put the companies that they're going to rent out to, like Laybolt or I can't remember that one, Alltech, and a bunch of other ones. They sometimes put the company stuff on there too for them at these shops. They're basically, they take brand new trucks that are from the Dodge plant or the Chevy plant, that type of stuff. Here in Grand Junction, they come off the rails. They're built someplace else, and the chassis come off the rail here. And then there's a shop, a yard that I call a local yard here in Grand Junction that does the putting on the utility box bid and flat bids on in, and they put the labels, markers, and unit numbers and all that on them. And they send them out, and then basically about every 3 states we have a local yard like that, or PTR does, I should say, Premier Truck Rental. It's usually our biggest contract that we move their trucks for. Worldwide just provides the drivers to move these trucks. Rental trucks, and basically my whole job is to take a new rental truck that a customer wants from the service yard once it's fixed and once it's brand new. They usually have like 20 miles on them, if that, when I get into them. Then I drive them 500 or 600 miles, and a lot of times I truck swap for an older truck that they've already been using for a while, because they're a regular customer of PTR, and I bring back a truck that might have sometimes 50,000 miles on it, sometimes 100,000 per customer, give or take. And they're bringing it back to service it and redo it and send it out to another customer that pays a lower rate as a second customer. If you're paying for the brand new trucks, you're paying a higher rate than you're paying for the second out ones, and so on down the list. And PTR keeps them for 3 or 4 customers, and then they auction them. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing nowadays, and I drive a truck. Most of the time, it's about 500 to 600 mile trips, which doesn't sound like as good as the RVs, but the thing about this is a lot of times it's truck to truck. So if I do a truck swap on that, it's 1,000 mile round trip paid, because I bring out the new truck for 500 miles, and I bring back the old truck that they're gonna service or auction or whatever for 500 miles back to a service yard. A lot of times I do that, and that service yard can also bounce me back out to a new truck again, because that service yard is where we supply the new trucks. So you can see how it chain links. And I go new, auction, new, and so on. And it varies, because sometimes they don't go back to the service yard, but most of the time they do. And if it's a run that goes back to the service yard, I'm literally going truck to truck, where it's just paid miles every time I get into something. But here lately, when Worldwide slows down, well, I shouldn't say Worldwide, but PTR, I should say, slows down, Worldwide has to look for other stuff, other third-party stuff, and occasionally I run high rail railroad trucks, or the power utility trucks for the power companies, because they have different plants. Like they have one out in Kansas City, Missouri and stuff. Just depends on where I'm at, location wise, and then if PTR is busy in that area or not, because PTR is our main contract. But then We have a couple other big contracts with Altec and a bunch of other ones. But anyway, if it was slow, which lately it's been a truck to a rental car, the plus side is I don't have to take as much public transportation. The downside is I'm now driving all the time, whether it's truck or rental car or what, I'm the one driving it there. But it is cheaper. The cost of driving, if I'm not doing a truck swap, is only the $50 for the actual car rental, because we get a discount with Enterprise and National and stuff. And then I put the $30 insurance on it every time, because I dropped my own car insurance that was full coverage, because all my cars took a dump, like you saw in that video that I posted a few videos back. If you're a normal subscriber, a regular subscriber, I should say. And so instead of that, and in lieu of that, and just to cover our own butts, we do the $30 in rental car insurance on top of it that I pay later on in the next paycheck. And then it cost about 30, sometimes $50 worth of fuel, depending on how far I'm having to take that rental. We try to only take the rentals 100 miles down the road, or maximum of like 500 miles, because that's a little bit, at some point or another it starts to get a little bit overreach if you're taking a 500-mile rental car that's, I'm having to drive that for free, essentially. Not for free, but you know what I mean, I'm not getting paid to do it, to go pick up a truck that only goes 300 miles or 100 miles, so what I mean? So we try to make it so we're doing a 100-mile rental car for a 500-mile truck. But in the end, the idea is the trucks just keep me rolling, and I can do 4 of these trucks, and if I'm doing truck to truck, $500, $1,000, $1,500, possibly $2,000 profit. Not counting the fuel. If I run 5 trucks in a week, I actually outdo the one RV and flyback system. But I'd have to run about 5 trucks, because they have incentives on them sometimes, and then I get paid $1.10 a mile, and then of course it depends on how many miles I run into, and not all the mileage are only 500 or 600 miles. Sometimes I got a 1,500 mile run. Sometimes I've only got 300 mile runs. But like I say, the difference between them and the RVs is I'm literally switching from truck to truck. A lot of times, even if I'm not going right from a new truck to an old truck, I'm just going across town using the lift for $20 to get to a truck that's already set up and ready to go again. And it's a lot easier than having to fly every week, in my opinion. But then again, my driving foot is starting to feel the pain of driving all the time. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I like the idea of, especially in these post-COVID world, with people being sick and stuff like that. The other day I took an Amtrak out of Washington, D.C., because I had a day to kill anyway, so I thought I'd just ride it up back to Indiana. I didn't have to. I just spent my money just to do it. Just gives you somewhere to go, sitting on the train. But then they tried to force me to sit right next to a woman with an active flu, so I went to the lounge car for an hour. But then the lounge car closed, and I had no other option to go back there. And then I told them I don't want to sit in that seat, and they said you can either sit in that seat or you can get off the train. And there was a car that far away, the next car over, that was half open of seats, and that on paper I can see why they do it or something, but it just makes no sense to fill a car full of people that, it's a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them are sick, and then have a whole empty car chained to it. Makes no sense. But I ended up getting off unexpectedly in the small town of Staunton, Virginia, which worked out pretty good. I actually found out Howard Johnson that night for a hotel room, and that was a pretty good night's stay. So it's, but I'm up for the challenge every day of, new stuff coming up. That's why I do it. That's the main reason I get out here and transport, is just so something's different every day, and it provides you these challenges. You challenge yourself every day going out here doing this life, because you really, it even comes down to what you have. You're packing with you. I have I think it's a Scotty vest, about $300 Scotty vest coat thing, and it's in there. It's a winter coat. 25 pockets that's in it, so it sorts everything within that coat. And then I put it in here. And then I have that bag fits everything else. So I have 2 bags is what I'm running now. I was running my bigger bag, but I switched over to the little ones. But anyway, the idea being, if I have to fly or whatever, I can put the coat on and put all the clothes on, and then everything will fit into this one backpack. And it's small enough backpack that they will consider it a personal item and not a carry-on. So if you have to fly, it's a cheaper way to fly. So I try to squeeze everything down as much lightweight as possible, and as convenient as I can. And then I just use hotel rooms about twice a week or so, and go in there and hand wash everything, and go to a laundromat every third week, and really wash everything. But there's the truck I'm driving today. I'm already in Grand Junction. I brought this up from Casper, Wyoming, but I'm waiting to get paid again to put fuel in it, and mostly I'm waiting for our yard, which is across the interstate. You can't really see it because of the building in the way, I guess, but over there's the interstate, and then our yard's over there. And my next truck is not available until 5 o'clock tomorrow night, and they don't need this one yet, so this is kind of just using it as my own personal wheels until I can swap trucks, because it gives me a backup plan of somewhere to go, and it gives me wheels for tomorrow, because I got all day tomorrow to kill here waiting on our yard, because they're backed up, and we don't have the driving contract. There's plenty of PTR trucks there, but we don't have the driving contract for when it's ready. It happens to be that they're fixing other stuff for other, there's more driving companies than just us running for PTR, and we just, the time and date and everything didn't line up right, so I had to wait a day on this one, but it's not usually like that. But that's my wheels for today, and they're most of the time they're like that. That's a Chevy 2500, I believe, flatbed. Different configurations every now and then. Sometimes they got a fuel tank on there. Sometimes they got a toolbox. Sometimes there's nothing but a flatbed. Sometimes it's just the chassis, no flatbed, no nothing. Sometimes it's a utility box like the plumbers and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a bucket truck. Sometimes it's a plow truck. In wintertime, I'll start driving the plow trucks once they get the plows going in the front, where they use parking lot pickups like this. Put a plow on it to plow the parking lot out. I'll start delivering that this winter here in another month, I think. But they're mostly nice, comfortable Chevys and Dodges and occasionally Fords that I run. But I like this idea better than door dashing with my own personal vehicle, because partially, like you saw a few videos ago, my vehicles took a dump for one thing. And I just like driving newer stuff. That one had, this one's a vehicle take back from a customer. The contract completion, where they're sending it back. But it had 69.43 was its mileage, so 6,943 miles on it. When I brought it down here, now it's got 7,337 miles on it, because it was a 400-mile trip, roughly. Up from Casper, or down from Casper, I should say. But I just been working away. That's what I pack and stuff. And the last thing I'll say about the flights, if you go into the RV thing, more power to you. And I like doing it that way. Don't get me wrong, I like the RV trips. I just got tired of doing the same thing all the time. But if you are looking into doing it, I would recommend Indiana Transport, because I've heard they reimburse you for hotels. They do pretty good on incentives, and they help you to get back, supposedly. A couple of their drivers have said, when circumstances don't match up the way they contract it out, like you're going to go from this to that to that, or whatever, then they'll help you get back or something. But you have to have 6 months or a year or something like that prior RV transport experience, or you have to have a CDL. I think, don't quote me on that, you can call Indiana Transport yourself and see. But I've heard that Indiana Transport is one of the best. That, or you can get signed on with Bennett. Bennett is the same way, where you have to have 6 months or a CDL to be able to do it, and it's just for their insurance. They don't want to put somebody who doesn't know what they're doing with the size of vehicles in that vehicle and send them down the road. That's why you go to sign on companies like Synergy first. If you don't have any kind of RV transport experience, Synergy will sign you right up, as long as you have clear vehicle record, clear driving record, so they don't have any reason to suspect that you'll have issues with it. Synergy will sign anybody up, and I like driving for Synergy. But Synergy had this short for long. It wasn't really forced dispatch, but at the same time kind of was, because they say you have to take a short one to get a long one. So they weren't 2,000 miles every time. They were 2,000 miles, and then a 200 mile, and then a 2,000 miles. And the thing is, those other little 200-mile runs don't pay enough to get back, so they're going into the profit that you're getting from this one. And that's why, obviously, any driver would want to sign up for this miles that they can get, because it was the same amount of cost of transportation back. Well, not the same amount, but slightly less, but it's still a big cost of transportation back, and bus and lift and whatever. And if it's too short of miles, you're stuck on a bus or a train back. because flying back is just unreal at that point, if it wasn't enough miles to pay for it. But this, I just thought I'd kind of show you why I switched. Hopefully that makes sense to some of you out there. And Worldwide, I believe, is hiring in coming this winter. The thing about Worldwide is, and this most other transport companies have the same problem, there's a lot of retirees that come out in the nice weather in summertime, the late spring, summer, and early fall, and then they dip out in the wintertime because they don't want to run in the winter. That's not worth their time and effort and pay to run around in the snow and fun driving that I had today. And so because of that turnover and kind of a repeat thing, Worldwide has a few drivers that come back every summer, and it becomes that if it's too slow for non-CDL type of thing in the summertime. And Worldwide doesn't make for the greatest of summertime jobs. Wintertime, they will be busy as hell. They will run me as far as I can run, continually, because they don't have the drivers then, and they have to keep the contracts up. So I have the advantage in the winter, and then I have a disadvantage in the summer. But I'm thinking about, if it gets too slow next summer, doing DoorDash with either my Geo or a rental car, or buy another cheap car, or whatever. I still have the Geo Metro. It is across the street over there by the yard too, in a semi-parking thing that's locked up with the cameras and the gates and all that stuff. And I was able to find a nice score of a cheap park. I think it's like $40 a month for it, and they have cameras and gate and everything. It does have to sit outside, but the storage sheds around here all wanted $200 a month, and when you add that up, $200 a month, that Geo's gonna end up paying for itself 3 times over by the time I ever get around to using it. And I'm holding on to it partially for my stuff, and partially so next summer I have a backup plan, or if anything, crap at the fan, so to speak, I make my way back to Grand Junction and I have a backup plan, and I can go door dashing with the Geo. I don't want to take it out right now, but my DoorDash bag is in the bottom of this thing. I guess I could. Put the bag in my it's in there or not. I think I packed it. Oh yeah, it's in there. But anyway, right there, I don't know if you can really see it or not. But yeah, let's do some editing. But yeah, that right there, that red, is my DoorDash bag. I have both the DoorDash bag and the pizza bag, but I didn't take the pizza bag with me because I don't think I'm going to use DoorDash enough as a secondary job right at the moment, let alone the pizza bag orders. But I brought the DoorDash bag with me because on the days, like today, if I had a rental car, not that truck, I don't think I'm going to use that truck tomorrow to DoorDash. They said they don't care if it did, but because we get 200-mile add-on miles onto the top of the contract if we have to add our own personal miles. So like 10 miles, 20 miles around town DoorDash, it wouldn't be no big thing to them, but as long as he kept the miles down. But anyway, the whole point is it's not fuel efficient to run with that anyway. So when I have these rental cars, and especially those nice small little compact rental cars, I get that one on a day where I'm stuck at like a day overlap. The truck ain't ready to, say it's Tuesday and the truck ain't ready till Thursday to pick it up. Occasionally that happens when Worldwide slows down a little bit, or you get out in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, where they don't have something or something. Then I might be stuck a day in the rental. And since I have the wheels for the rental, I brought my DoorDash bag with me. So I can just go door dashing partly for something to do, and then it'll pay for that day's worth of meal, so it don't cost me the day sitting there. Because it usually costs me around $30 a day, give or take in food, because fast food on the road is not healthy for you and expensive. Anyway, with that thought, that's all I got for you tonight. Like and subscribe, leave comments. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.